All right, my question to you is, we've talked about dating in the past and how you know, how you know if it's the one, and you mentioned criteria. Uh, would you ever date someone with kids?
Yeah. Like me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because again, if I said in an ideal world, they wouldn't have kids, but it's still 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's still, I mean, if I met a person that I thought was like amazing, I was attracted to them, they were a kind, like loving, caring, sweet person. They are a good mom. They, push me to become a better version of myself. They, every single thing I'd want. And they had
Those are the aspects of a person that make you want to be with them, right?
absolutely. So, meaning, again, I think what's hard, and especially as you get older, you have to realize that not only are a lot of those characteristics rare, but they're rare at a scale at which that you might actually like. So, meaning you could meet a person that I think is kind and you go, oh, they're okay. Or a person that I think is like, wow, they're super supportive. And you go, well, you might date them and go, oh, yeah, they're okay. Like our criteria is different. If I meet someone who I think based on my criteria is great, and I go, and they have a kid, like you're not going to meet another person like that without a kid. The odds are low.
You know what's interesting, and one of the reasons why I ask is because I feel like there's a lot of women out there that see that as an obstacle for themselves, right?
They do. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but I think the reality is that's not really the case, especially when you're dealing with mature, reasonable individuals. And I say that in the sense of, you know, like what you just said, that was a really mature thought. And I don't think a lot of people think through that. I think a
Yeah.
lot of times it's coming from a selfish place, where people thinking about
Yeah.
themselves and you know what I
Well,
mean?
and to be fair, let's say, it I honestly do believe with men and women, there's two sides of these things. And we both have culpability when it comes to figuring out these situations. So women for sure judge themselves and think, well, I have a kid and will someone else love this kid or care? It's not theirs.
Right.
And there are definitely going to be guys who are super shallow and go like, oh, well, I'm not raising some other guy's kid. Like F that. And that's both sides. But yet it is the woman building herself up enough to be the kind of person that no matter the situation, people are going to like her. And is the man thinking through enough of those things where he goes, I can recognize that this is the kind of person that no matter the situation, I'd want to be with.
Right.
Right. Like then it's a little bit easier to then say, hey, like yes, absolutely. Like I can be with this person because they meet all of this criteria. Right. And so um yeah, I just think at the end of the day, it's on both of us to basically, figure out the best way to really truly think through like what is it that we want? Because if we find these people and they're great, um, yeah, we're gonna choose to be with them. We're gonna choose to at least want to. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of women will judge themselves, and a lot of men. Sorry, my screen went away. Can you see?
Yeah, no, I see you.
Okay, how did I get? Um,
What's Yeah, I mean, I always thought that was interesting, and it was always kind of sad to me anyway. I mean, I've really only been in two long-term relationships,
yeah,
both of which involved kids, and I always thought it was sad. I've got a really good friend that is kind of going through it now, and they have a kid together, and he moved out, and she's
yeah,
just convinced that at 40 she's not going to be able to find someone that make her happy and also be okay with her and her daughter. And I hate to hear that. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's
Well, but remember too, like so that's why I'm saying on that person's part, if you're developing, I mean, look, there's nothing you can do about having a kid at this point, right? So say, but are you the kind of person that in every other aspect of your life you feel like, hey, I'm valuable, I'm smart, I'm this, I'm everything a person would want.
yep.
You're gonna probably tend to focus on those qualities. Like if I don't know, like if I'm Michael Jordan, right? But I don't shoot threes as good as Steph Curry. Do I go, oh man, I'm just, God, I can't shoot. No, I'm good at everything else.
Right. You focus on that.
I'm gonna be focused on that. I'm gonna be like, yeah, any guy would love to have me because I'm Michael. I mean, Again, I could be wrong, but that's my thinking. And I think sometimes, when we're looking at one characteristic, we're judging it too harshly and we're not thinking, what are the other 10 things that I'm great at that I bring to the table? Because we can all look at something that, like, oh, I'm not rich enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not, you know, I mean, every single human being could look at something and say, there's some part about me because they're, like, I have this philosophy about like the perfect man and perfect woman fallacy of like, you're never going to meet, you know, Brad Pitt, who has a PhD, who's as rich as Bill Gates, who's as creative as Elon Musk, who's as funny as Dave Chappelle.
Right.
Like, that dude doesn't exist. Like, there is no human being like that. Right. So every person can go, oh, well, I could be funnier. I could be the, like, sure. But at the end of the day, if you're building the other aspects of your life, like, then you're going to know you're a valuable person regardless, kid no kid. So I agree with you 100%. I think it's super sad that people think that way. And then I think it's super sad that, there's a lot of men that aren't thinking through the qualities enough, because there are a lot of great women out there who either, got into bad situations when they were young, or just had a failed relationship and they have a kid out of it. If they're a great parent, if they're a great person, like, they're going to be a great partner for the most part if they're thinking about being a great partner.
Yeah, and I also think it strengthens the relationship, which is something that I never thought about until I was in that situation myself. Just the challenges that we have, compared to some friends of ours that don't have kids, I think just make us that much stronger. Whether that's figuring out how to homeschool or parenting together, and you learn a lot about your partner as well. As far as their beliefs on parenting, and I mean that could be a great indicator right there. If you don't like the way that they parent, might not be the best person to settle down with, right?
Well, and yeah, it's forcing you in a situation where you're going to just naturally have more criteria, right?
Yeah,
So, like, you're going to be put in more situations where, you're going to have examples of the things you either want or don't want. Whereas, like, let's say if you're single, no kids, and you're both doing fine, and there's just not a lot of conflict. I mean, I'm a big believer in the idea of problem solving, and to be able to see a person who can problem solve, because we're all going to inevitably have problems. Like, how do you solve them?
right.
And too often we're all focused on, like, just complaining about a problem.
Mhm.
Problem solving is massive, but if you're in a relationship or a dynamic where there's no problems or things are going okay, you never really get to see how a
Right.
person responds. And that's why, even from my point about creating criteria and saying, hey, put people in certain situations early on to see how else would you know.
Yeah.
So whether it's the kind of thing on the date, or bringing up some personal problem and seeing how they respond to it, or whatever that is, like, there's got to be a way for you to kind of see, how does a person act, right? Like, we didn't know that Michael Jordan could hit a shot in the clutch until he's in the clutch, right? Like, if you're
Right.
winning 30 every game, you
And
never
I
see
mean,
in that situation.
that's essentially the point or the purpose of dating, right?
Yeah.
Is doing it for a long enough time to be in those different situations to see how that person reacts and figure out if you want to, if you want to do
Yeah.
this for your
And
life.
potentially doing that with other people that you're dating. But again, too often we keep going back to the ice cream shop and getting, cookies and cream. And we never
Right.
think about, well, is it possible? Will I like mint or
Right.
pistachio or
This cookie being
like,
good for you in the long run.
yeah, it's great. I mean, you just keep doing the same thing. And then, when you're getting tired of it, you're like, maybe this isn't for me. Well, we don't know. But I mean, you have to really kind of put yourself in situations where you're thinking about not only the kind of person you want, trying to verify it, but even as you're continuing to date different people, seeing, are there qualities in that person that verify what I want, or the qualities in that person that are making me see that I actually really don't want that, and you're constantly learning and evolving.
Right. Right.